one thing we can do is now, if I click on any tile, I should swap the current empty tile index with that tile, right? So that will mean that on tile clicking, I will pass current tile index, which will be dispatched. Dispatch events swap tile. Okay. And I will pass it as tile index. That's good. We can also pass what was the current empty index at that point in time as well. Or you can take it from when it is going to access in the events, right? Okay, so I will call it as swap tiles. Okay, so now this will be an interesting thing. So instead of having a reg event db, I would have created as a fx. So register event function. And how it is different from the db is that it will allow me to also trigger a function. So this is not a very pure DB update. It can have some side effects. So whenever there are side effects, there's a way to control it. So I will have, okay. And this is having a little different argument compared to a normal events which you work on, where you define something. You mentioned that I'm only interested in doing a tile swap, but in that case, it will have it will basically change the state. So it will generate a computed function, and it will pass that computed function value to it. So we have to use that data here and see how that is going to work. So let's try to see if we can have it as a coefx, and then the other set of things which are provided will be as part of event. Right? I need to relook at the so in the reframes. Okay, leave it. I believe I'll just give it a hit and try. So we will have something called as this, and then we will try to pull it from the PV. Okay, so we have the cortex, we have the event DB, and we just have to try to get things from it. And empty tile index and whatever is the click value, we will be able to. Let's see. So DB will be put on DB of cortex. Think so. And then we will have do we have the tiles right now? Do you need the tiles? You don't need the tiles. I just need the empty index, right? Empty index will be empty tile index of the DB, right? Yeah. And what is in the event? Let's see here. reagent also will and event is event. Let's see that is the information. So empty index. Now this fx is created, but it's returning a nil, which is going to create a problem. So you have to return a DB so that nothing gets impacted. I will return a DB as DB where I'm not changing any state of the DB anywhere. What is the DB here? DB should be the one which is defined with it. So that's what I will return. Now, when it is getting called as a swap tile, which tile index is clicked. And let's see, click here, tile clicked, empty index is 12. Okay, I'm getting that. We got something in the events, and the events contain the information which are we passing any meta information in this index? Uh, oh yes, we are here. This is what I needed. So this is right. We are passing something. You clicked on 15, I believe, right? Tile clicked. Okay. So I should. Where is this tile click coming from? From here. Right? I should have also yes, complete.log. Tile click. Tile click index. So that I have some clear logs available. And I can clearly see which tile I'm clicking. I'm clicking index number 3. Index 3 is clicked in the events. It is available. Yes, it is getting passed, right? If I click on something else and try to see if that is available in the events. So it has to be there in the tail. Yeah, that's there. So this is what we need. So we are getting the events. In the events object, we have to be careful in terms of how we are, what we are picking here. So, okay, I understand there was a good way to restructure this. It was that I can take these named as DB this coefficients, and this complete event data can be restructured and say left index, left index, you can take it here. And yeah, so now you have this DB structured there. You do not need it here. You directly read it from the DB. You do not need this, and you just need what is the price like index and the lag index at least. So tile click index is 3, empty tile index is 8, tile clicked is 11, tile clicked is 15. That's awesome. Now we'll just get out of this. This is not helping anyone. Now we know which index we are clicking. We know what is the empty tile index. We just have to work on swapping this. So this is what the swap function will do. Swap function is going to call a function which is swap tiles. So you have to pass all the tiles. You have to pass the whole time midnight, right? Old empty tile index, new empty tile index. Now, what this function is supposed to do is that from the list of tiles, what it has, you just have to simply place it. That is also not rigid. I'll say associate tiles with old tile index with the value of the new tile index, which is new tile index of the tiles, and the new tile. Yeah, this is a little tricky, I believe. So I'll explain you what I just did there. Let's see swag tiles, and I have tiles available somewhere. If not, I can try to. No, there is no DB tiles. That's strange. Oh, in this case, it is B7 DB. Yeah, that's there. And I'm saying that let me just. So I want to replace two tiles, which is say 7-2 and 1-8. Okay. So I would say that this is the tile, and I want to control your distance. Yeah, there you go. There's a good shortcut on VS Code, Control Alt C and then C, which will print the output here in the file itself as a comment. Okay. So now what is needed is that I have to provide the old tile index, which I want to replace. So in this case, say I want to replace the tile index of 1. I want to replace 1 with 7. Look carefully now. Okay. 1 is currently having 8, 7 is currently having 2. What the what did I do wrong? Think New empty tile index. Oh, there's a mistake because I initially assumed that I've defined these things as a key, right? Now, I believe that should not be a problem. And great. So now what happened is that this is because every time the styles is getting changed with the random logic, whenever you're evaluating it, it's not a static number, it is calling this function, which function is kind of retrieving it every time. So one easy way for us is that we take this as an input here and here. Let's see the output here. See, I'm saying replace 1 with 7. 1 and 7 are now replaced. 7 was 2, 1 was 8. Now 7 is 8, 1 is 2. So this is good enough. It will return a new tiles collection to us. And that new tiles collection is something which we should provide here. Where? Here. No. Empty index and that will also change, right? We'll look into that as well. Yes. They should ideally swap tiles. Now, swap tiles will require the tiles as well. So we have to get the four tiles as tiles of the DB. And then say old tiles and then pass old empty tile index, which is the current empty index, and then the tile flip index. Yeah? And you get a new tile. And these new tiles are the one which you should be replacing here. Now there is, okay, I have intentionally added a problem here. I'll show you what will happen now. See why it happened? Because it has replaced the complete database with the tiles only. However, our database should contain empty index, click counter, and other information as well, right? Now what I have done was I have just replaced it with this instead. It should be that I want to do an associate. DB will be a source to the existing DB, and it is only going to replace tiles with the new tiles. That's how it should be. Yeah. So see, now you can see that things are kind of moving. However, one thing you will notice is that only items which are getting swapped are some random items. Can you guess what is happening here? I believe I know why it is not working the way it should be, but just a simple guess if anyone wants to take. So what happened is that we are calling the swap function. Okay. The swap function is swapping all the swap function is swapping the two set of tiles properly. However, we are not updating the empty tile index. So if you look at the current empty tile index, that is 2, and it is always 2. When you are switching with the empty tile, then it will work fine, right? But you're not updating the empty tile index. So one thing which you have to do as part of this is that you dispatch one more function maybe and update the empty tile index, or you do it as part of the same function itself. Now it is preferred that you know what is the empty tile index here. You can do it in the same place, or you decouple that as a separate event and maybe process that as a separate, what to say, regiment. So we'll just create one more event, which is refresh one effects and is update amplify index. This will be a function that will take same keys, everything same, and it is just going to take. So when you have this function available, what it should do is that instead of doing all this, you can just simply set that empty line index here and say that the tag click index is the empty index now. That should be. Let's see. Yeah. So 0th is the empty now. See, this is going to work for us. Yeah. Okay. This is good enough progress for us. We have done it very slowly, but the idea is that just wanted to showcase how to go on the move. Now there are a couple of basic validations which we need to add. We'll maybe pick it from there. Yeah.